because the one who has made this process of life, a fundamental process of life, growing through cells, even aquatic plants like algae, they multiply by the process of mitosis, that is, they divide into two identical cells. Now when we say identical cells, a cell splitting into two identical, it's copying, imitating the exact contents of the previous original cell and the exact chromosome numbers. So that means the DNA that the cell is inheriting is the ancestor DNA. So coming to think of it, that power, that supreme consciousness, we call him flawless and he is devoid of flaw. That is the basic human existential, for this is that inevitable process of life that we call the life process, which has been made fundamental by that supreme consciousness, that creator, that we grow in numbers, that we keep on multiplying via offsprings, via producing, and even the aquatic plants and algae, they multiply by cells by the process of mitosis, that is, they divide into two identical cells. Now the big question arises, is the identical imitation, that the first cell, the original cell that divides and splits into two cells, is the exact copy of the original cell and the exact contents is copied by that and is transferred to the cells. Even the chromosome numbers are an exact imitation of the basic original cell that are split into two. Does that almighty split into two and then further division? Then a big question arises, it is about the identical imitation, because that almighty, we call him, he is devoid of flaw, and flaw, error is the basic function that the human cannot be devoid of. If when it comes to existence, when it comes to human beings, when it comes to creation, it is not devoid of flaw, and when it comes to the creator, he is limitless and devoid of flaws. Now we say, when we unleash the potential of our minds, it is then we will be able to unleash the highest potential of our minds. That highest potential is the potential that has been gifted by the supreme consciousness, that is flawless, that is limitless. And only when we consciously connect with that supreme consciousness, we will be able to successfully unleash the potential, the highest potentials and the possibilities of our lives. Then how can he become a part of this birth and death cycle? Then how that supreme consciousness who has created the existence, how his essence, his attributes and behavior can pass on, because they are subject to that flawlessness, they are subject to that perfection that cannot be imitated, that cannot be duplicated. And if he splits into two and further, then he is transferring the qualities of his. So just the way we living organisms are multiplying, then the God is also multiplying in number. Then what impact is it going to have on the future? What impact is it going to have on the mankind? And the imitation of the attributes and the behavioral essence is a clear signal that human also will become as perfect as God. Then there will not be the need of any creator. Then we will be able to create our own personalized and customized world and universes. Is it possible practically? If not, then we have to surrender and submit ourselves to the oneness of the unifying force. We have to focus on the oneness of the supreme consciousness. That is fair, and that is fair and all powerful, almighty and forceful, and is fair to each and every human being, each and every animal, each and every plant. Anything and everything that comes into existence is a part of his creation, and we are going to get back to that supreme consciousness, because it is by merging of our singular consciousness with the supreme consciousness, we will be able to become one with him. And in order to become one with him, we take the part, we take the role, and we play the role of being the spiritual aspirants. We play the role of being spiritual disciples. We play the role of being spiritual human beings. The spiritual science is the pathway, is the soul pathway that connects us to that supreme consciousness who has supreme control over anything and everything. That time and space that we say is unknown, it has no origin, it has no end, because time and space is nothing but he himself who has created it. He is the time, he is the space, he is formless, we cannot see him. He is the one and only supreme supreme entity beyond imagination of any physical touch or physical imagination or any physical senses. So focusing on the fairness part of that attribute, that is so supreme and great in its nature, in its essence, that it is beyond physical imagination, the physical senses. So we need to be fair to each and every one of us, regardless of the faith, gender, belief we all belong to, because we are all living organisms, we are all living creatures that belong to that one supreme consciousness. And if we don't behave fairly with each other, then there is the fair judgment that is conducted from above, from the Lord of the universes, who is watching upon us. The minutest of the thing that we do that go unnoticed in human eyes, that doesn't go unnoticed by that supreme entity, because he has created each and every part that is doing the action on our part, anything and everything, each cell that is within us, with the help of the body that has been gifted to us by the supreme consciousness. It belongs to him. Keeping that in mind, we have to be fair to each other, we have to promote peace, we have to be peaceful towards each other, and it is the universal harmony that is called for. He is all for universal peace and universal harmony, because we all belong to him and we belong to one faith, and that faith is the belief, and the belief that the creator and the supreme consciousness is one, his attribute, his essence, that is that one power. We have to keep this in mind, that this is a fact that we cannot deny, that nobody has seen that supreme consciousness, and it is his law that prevails, it is his kingdom that we are living in, and it is the body that we have. We are owning it, but we don't own it. It is he who owns it. It is he who has gifted it to us for a particular time level, for it is he who says that this is the time interval, this is the time we have given to you, and it is not limitless. It has a particular set limit, that limit which doesn't bound him, that creator, but it bounds every living organism. When it comes to human beings especially, that is the additional consciousness, that is the additional cognition, the thinking ability they have gifted us, that is gifted to the animals and other living organisms in the form of alertness, in the form of that sixth sense, that extra sixth sense, and the power, the intuitive power. But when it comes to consciousness and when it comes to the cognition, the ability to think and judge and make a judgment between the right and the wrong, to differentiate between the right and the wrong, to differentiate between peace and war, then we have that cognition. And he will ask us that if you knew that this is peace, then why did you choose war? Because he is all about universal love, he is all about universal peace, he is all about universal harmony and unconditional love that binds each living organism to another. We have to be all for peace, and this is how we have to function, this is how we have to grow, and this will take us to the ultimate success. Bread 41 days of life-changing course, life-changing experience, no dependency, what the slavery bred.